And y'all the Christians, you sure about that? You sure? I don't know, man. Alex seemed pretty possessed over there talking about Islam.
But I can feel it. Nick, you agree that this is really the beginning of the Second Great Crusade and that we're going to be victorious? It may take 50 years, but I can feel it, Nick Fuentes.
I hope it is. I hope it's the beginning of a Christian revival, but I think we have to first start with awakening a consciousness within America about what our civilization is. And this is why I think it's really meaningful, because it's sort of interesting that for a couple of years, you had the Zionists who mostly control the Republican Party and the right wing. Obviously, they have influence among the Democrat Party. We recognize, though, that Netanyahu and his Likud government, they have a very special play with the Republican Party.
No, I'm sorry. I got to mention, bro, somebody said God Logic and Adam I don't know. I'm not sure who this Adam guy is, but God Logic is probably the most disingenuous debater ever. That man literally sat there with a doctor and pretty much tried to sit there and act like he couldn't understand how the word father could be used in different sense. And God Logic is like he pays willfully ignorant to pretty much keep his argument alive. Because if he actually addressed the real argument, he would understand how his arguments fall apart. So God Logic is honestly a terrible debater. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, hey, man, the Christians eat it up. But if you look at it with an unbiased mind, you're not going to give it to God Logic. Trust me. If you look at it with an unbiased mind, if you're already Christian, then you're already going to be leaning toward God Logic. If you're Muslim, then you're already going to be leaning towards, I guess, what's one of these Muslim debaters? Like Orthodox Muslim. I know there's one girl, Cora, doesn't hit the scene, all this good stuff. So, nah. Trust me. And I watch all these Islamic Christian debates because they're fun. And I'm going to tell you this, God Logic, Nah, not at all. But this guy, what's it? This Sam guy, bro, be quoting the Bible and the Quran. He's against Islam, but I'll be real with you. He's actually a pretty good debater. I'll give him that. He was on PBD too. So shout out. I think that's who you were talking about, Sam. Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about now. Now he's actually a pretty good one, but even he argues disingenuously about Islam. It's like nobody really argues Islam in its totality. They kind of take bits and parts and they kind of straw man it. So it's like this. Instead of reading the full verse in context, you guys just take one verse out, frame it as if what Islam stands for. But when you read it in full context, you quickly realize that that's not it. It's like, bro, you're straw manning the Quran.
Special relationship with the Trump family in particular, but also the Republican Party in general. And it's interesting how the only way it's been acceptable for the past few years to be contrary to this influence of Israel and recognize Israel as a distinct civilization, Jewish civilization, Israel, it's the Jewish religion, it's the Jewish ethnicity, it's the Jewish culture. That's really separate and distinct from Europe and from Christendom. It's different from Europeans. It's different from Christianity, different ethnicity, different religion. The only way to meaningfully oppose the influence of this foreign civilization in America. So,
you know what? F it. I mean, since the last guy I just had to kick out was Christian, I'm just going to say it like this. Bro, be real with you. You Christians are honestly terrible debaters. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, you're disingenuous when it comes to debating Islam. Y'all don't know what the F y'all talking about, and y'all take things out of context every time. Like, even with the whole argument about Muhammad being a pedophile, it's like, bro, that's such a disingenuous argument. Like, how are you going to pretty much take an historical figure? When we debate history, you know, we kind of leave them to their time, aka we don't try to judge somebody from the 6th century with modern day times, with modern day ideology, with modern day laws. It's kind of dumb to do that. You got to look at them in their time period, and in their time period, that was the norm, like it or not. Trust me. Now, I don't like it. Lord knows you don't like it, but why sit there and try to call it out as if Christians weren't doing the same thing Muhammad was back in the day? Yes, child marriages, marrying kids as soon as they had their period. The Bible promotes it as well. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like at a certain point, you guys damn near like at a certain point, you fight Islam so hard, you end up attacking your own religion. It's absolutely hilarious. So sorry, Christians, I have to bash you guys like this, but do better, man. Do better. Actually debate these Muslims with some goddamn, like, bro, be good faith about it. Like, geez, that's all I'm asking. Just be good faith about it. You Lord knows Alex Jones ain't good faith about it. But all right, man, enough. We're going to go ahead and get into this video about Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes.
You agree?
Y'all getting tired of me talking about Islam and Christianity. I know I'm probably pissing a lot of the Christians off, but y'all be okay. Y'all be okay.
This is really the beginning of the Second Great Crusade, and that we're going to be victorious. It may take 50 years, but I can feel it. Nick Fuentes.
I hope it is. I hope it's the beginning of a Christian revival, but I think we have to first start with awakening a consciousness within America about what our civilization is. And this is why I think it's really meaningful, because it's sort of interesting that for a couple of years, you had the Zionists who mostly control the Republican Party and the right wing. Obviously, they have influence among the Democrat Party. We recognize, though, that Netanyahu and his Likud government, they have a very special play with the Republican Party, very special relationship with the Trump family in particular, but also the Republican Party in general. And it's interesting how the only way it's been acceptable for the past few years to be contrary to this influence of Israel and recognize Israel as a distinct civilization. Jewish civilization, Israel, it's the Jewish religion, it's the Jewish ethnicity, it's the Jewish culture. That's really separate and distinct from Europe and from Christendom. It's different from Europeans, it's different from Christianity, different ethnicity, different religion. The only way to meaningfully oppose the influence of this foreign civilization in America so far has been really to side with Muslims. That seems to be that's like the overwhelming, loudest voice in the room, is free Palestine from the river to the sea, promoting the Muslim religion. And what I've tried to promote...
Not really. You don't got to promote the Muslim religion to be against what Israel is doing in Palestine. You don't got to be for the Muslim religion or be a Muslim to sit there and be against Israel's expansionist ways. I do hate how they try to conflate the two as if, oh, no, if you believe in one, you definitely with the other. And it's like, nah, we can keep those separate for sure.
Contrary to both of these things.
I mean, one is kind of about you like, bro, like human rights. And then, I mean, one is just a theological debate. Like, bro, we can leave Islam out of this and just get to the point of, yes, like, bro, you're abusing people's human rights when you're just sitting there killing them recklessly. Like, I'm sorry. You can't do that. That's not right. I mean, you can leave religion out of it, honestly.
Is that we actually have a role in all of this. We are a distinct, separate civilization. We shouldn't be dominated by Israel and by this Jewish nation inside of America, New York City, LA, and Miami.
What Muslims cry about Western colonialism and genocide and scream that Islam will dominate the world and gloat about white genocide in the next sentence. They deserve zero sympathy. I'm done. Muslims do cry about Western colonialism because, you know, due to our Western interference, we destabilize a lot of Muslim countries, and then we want to call them shithole countries. And then genocide, well, I mean, sure. I mean, in Palestine, sure. But then scream that Islam will dominate. Now, here's the craziest part about it. That's not what Sneako said, but there are some crazy Muslims out there that will say that. That's like a small group, though. If you're trying to say that's all Muslims, then you're honestly lying to yourself.
We also shouldn't be dominated by Muslim civilization. We also shouldn't be dominated by, let's say, the Saudis, the Qataris, Iran, these other countries. We are Christians. We are Europeans. We are the inheritors of Greece and Rome and all those great colonial empires, the Dutch, the Spanish, English, French, Portuguese, and so on. We should really embrace our identity. So I think in order to have this crusade, in order to really assert our role separate and distinct from the others, we have to become aware of who we are again. With regard to the Muslims, though, you were 100%.
Who you guys are. I mean, because it kind of sounds like you guys worship the Crusaders, which was people who committed violence on Jews, Christians, their own kind, and Muslims. Seems like you guys worship them more than Jesus Christ. I mean, maybe that's something we need to talk about. It seems like you guys worship the sword more than the word of God, more than the word of your God. I mean, isn't it kind of crazy how they did? You don't never hear them talk about no words of Jesus, not one Bible verse, but, oh, let's crusade. Let's go out there and start taking heads. Muslim invasion. Never the words of God, though, huh? They never want to just take a word from the Sermon on the Mount and say, well, blessed be the peacemakers, for they are the sons of God. Or what was it? You shall love your enemy. Like you heard it said, you shall hate your enemy and all this good stuff, but love your enemy. It's like y'all just forgot all that, and y'all just threw the word of God out to pick up the sword with the Crusaders. Yeah, y'all lost. Y'all lost the plot. Y'all lost the plot. Christianity is about Jesus Christ and what he did for you guys and with original sin, but you guys are making this about the Crusaders.
100% right.
And here's the thing, y'all don't even like Christians. Not Christians. I mean, y'all don't even like Catholics like that. Hello, yeah, a lot of different denominations of Christianity don't like Catholics, even though they're the biggest one and they're the biggest steppers in the Christian community. They're the ones that popped off the crusade. A lot of the other Christian communities won. I mean, they just sat down and let whatever happen, or they weren't even around. So I'm sorry, but like y'all need to pick. Because I remember when everybody was trying to go against the Catholics because the Pope was saying, yeah, maybe we should be cool with Islam, guys, since we're the ones who have to fight them. Y'all just sat y'all ass down. Maybe instead of you guys pushing for a crusade, why don't y'all listen to the guys who actually have to fight these guys?
I have to say, you've been very gracious, and you say that I was right about Trump and I predicted that we'd go to war with Iran. You're 100% right about the Muslims. And I'll say that in 2023, 24, and 25, I did think it was useful that the Muslims and the left were bringing that Israel issue to the forefront, because they really were. And it created a wedge. It was. And they created a wedge within the Democratic Party. They split the Democrats. I think that hurt Biden, helped Trump get elected, which I know you supported. And I think a lot of people recognize might be better than what we would have gotten under Kamala Harris, although I think it's a little contentious. So it definitely created a wedge among the left and the Democrats. But it also brought this issue to the forefront because liberals control the mainstream. And so if the right wing is criticizing Israel, we're seen as Nazis. We're seen as Hitler lovers or something like that. It's from a racial, bigoted point of view. If the left wingers bring the Israel issue to—
and yeah, I hate that too. It's like when you try to sit there and criticize Israel, now they want to call you a Jew hater. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm sorry. But if I'm a Jew hater, then wouldn't I be criticizing all Jews and not just Israel? Like, because, I mean, Jews are all over the world. So if this is about Jewish hate, wouldn't I be saying something that pertains to all Jews instead of just talking about this one country that just has a bunch of Jews in it? And I'm not even talking about all the Jews in Israel. I'm talking about the Jewish leadership in Israel, the Likud party that's acting out of pocket in Lebanon and Gaza.
To the fore under this aegis of caping for Palestine, they're white knighting for the indigenous people of the Middle East. You're able to kind of sneak it past the goalie, and it gets into the mainstream, and it seems like it's less offensive for some reason. And so I think for some time that was useful. There was a time and a place for that. But what I started to recognize this year is that basically it's becoming the case that if you're Israel critical, you're also now expected to be left wing. The left is basically using that to bring all the people in the center into their radical
100%.
cause. It's like a Trojan horse.
100%.
And so I said, we need to start drawing some lines and saying, look, I'm America first. I'm not anti-Israel. I'm America first. And that makes me critical of Israel's influence, but it also makes me against communist open borders, all the rest 100%.
of that. 100%. So and they successfully, with the help of the Israel Firsters, Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro, because they make it, you're either for Israel or you're pro-Islam, pro-communist. And so you're getting it from both sides that fool a lot of people, but I see people waking up from that.
We can't act because there is no we. The Jews can act because there is such a thing as that corporate community. They have position. They have this group mindset pushing in one direction. We don't have that. We have to organize. That's the operative word. Organize and act as one. And the reason that the Jews and the Muslims are so powerful is because they are organized and they're able to act in a unified.
I don't know about that. I say the Jews, yeah, they're very organized. The Muslims, I mean, bro, do you see how like separated the Middle East is? Like, bro, the Jews, they're all on the same page when it comes to Israel. Bro, the Muslims are over here debating about Palestine. Like, what are you talking about? And that should be an easy one for them. But they're over here talking about, well, I mean, I don't know. Should we help Palestine become a state, or should we just leave it alone? I don't know what we should do. Should we just cuck ourselves to Israel, or should we fight against them? I don't know what to do. So, no, you really can't say that Muslims are all that organized at all. I mean, they're not unified like the Jews are. I mean, shout out to them. That's a strength. Nah, you can't even judge them for it.
Way. And so
something we should all pick up on.
For example, you look at the Muslims. Why are they such powerful allies? Because they literally have sovereign states as their sponsors. So when you have the Muslim lobbies or Muslim influence in the United States, they're funded by the Saudis. They're funded by the Emiratis. They're funded by the Qataris. It's literally at the state
white
level.
Christians don't have 53 countries.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. If they're I mean, okay, this is the problem, though. Here's the thing. There's no state saying that if you talk about Saudi Arabia, Qatar, you're going to get banned or your business is going to get clipped. But if there are states like Florida are pretty much saying if you judge Israel, then yeah, you can get arrested. Your business could face consequences. So what are you talking about, Nick? It's like, that's what I'm saying. Y'all want to talk about, oh, all this money they pumping in. Well, what are they getting out of it? Because they ain't getting shit. I mean, people are still talking crazy about Islam. People still talk crazy about Qatar, calling them an enemy when they're an ally. But I mean, hey, Israel gets all the good press in the world. The only people that's giving Israel bad press is independent media. I mean, come on now. See, I mean, you really can't even say that's like, I mean, I don't even know how he's even to think that's valid, but all right.
He's backing him.
Exactly. And the same goes for the Jews. Why are the Jews so powerful? Because they have the state of Israel backing them.
And the U.S.
And so right. So that's why the Jews and the Muslims in America, they have chips to play with, because Israel and the Arab League countries, they furnish these communities inside America with chips to play in our political game. So, for example, the Qataris, they just opened up a new embassy. It's very real. I know that's like a Zionist talking point. It also happens to be true that the Qataris are making a play for influence.
They spend $30 billion a year in the U.S. alone.
They do. And, you know, so I've talked at length my whole career about Israel. It happens on the other side, too. And the point is to demonstrate the principle, which is if you want power, we can't be individuals. That's the problem. Muslims are playing a team game where they're being backed by countries that sell oil. The Jews are playing a team.
But that's what I'm saying, though. What are they getting? Like, I could see him saying the Jews are playing a team game and they got Israel backing their social media campaigns and all that good stuff. And all these pro-Zionist accounts get like the biggest push on X. But can you really say that for Muslim accounts? I mean, and you can't really count Sneako because Sneako been popping before he became a Muslim. So you can't, he came with that audience. So who are you talking about, Nick? What? Please tell me these Muslim influencers that's being sponsored by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and they're getting a huge push. And now people are talking better about Islam because of this propaganda. Because hell nah, trust me. I mean, there's still a very unfavorable view of Islam. And if you're telling me these countries are paying to get a favorable view of their country, I mean, and they just wasted millions upon millions of dollars, Nick. Millions.
Game where they're being backed by a nuclear armed country. Whites are playing an individual's game. It's a big free for all. We're all on our own. If a black person stabs a white person, the black community rallies and raises $500,000 for that guy. If a white person gets stabbed, we say, well, it's not about race. It's a human being thing. Some human beings sometimes kill other human beings.
And we wonder why the attacks are 20 to 1, 40 to 1, because we don't have a lobby. We have had our identity taken away, and the system knows that.
Real time, uncensored, unstoppable.
Interesting, to say the least. And, you know, this Sneako thing is one of the top stories since he was at that Islamic rally, one of many in New York, saying, we're taking over. Every home will be Islamic, which is the Quran. It's a manual of takeover and pedophilia and marrying 9-year-olds and Muhammad being gangbanged by 30 black men to get their seed. I'm not kidding. That's in there.
No, it is not actually. 30 black men. Here's the thing. What he's talking about is when they said 30 black men rode Muhammad. Yeah, they're talking about 20 black men pressed Muhammad about the Quran and the beliefs. Remember, Muhammad was spreading it to the African nations as well. And there were African leaders who was pressing him and asking him all types of questions like, why should we believe in your way? Why should we believe in your God? What makes your God better than my traditions? What are you talking about? So yes, 30 black men pressed Muhammad about the Quran all night. And, you know, rode, they say rode, and in Arabic, it means pretty much pressing. So it's kind of crazy. Like I said, he's like so misinformed about it, bro. It's crazy. You can tell he just reads the slop that they feed you on X about Islam. He doesn't really do no real investigation. I mean, guys, bro, just take the most hateful thing about Islam on X and put it and post it in Grok, ChatGPT, Google, or go to your local mosque and go ahead and ask the imam or whatever and be like, hey, is any of this true? You can ask the internet, you can ask somebody in person. I mean, look, man, the mosques are everywhere. I know you can go into one and look, okay? Don't be lazy.
And the hadith. And that's what it is. It's a nightmare situation. Just because we're upset with Israel and don't like what Israel's doing doesn't mean we're on board with Islam. And Nick's been talking a lot about that lately. And We're going to get to that. I know people want to hear about that because it really captured the world's attention. And I would say if you got to mark a line, in just general, the last few months, Muslims have said, we're 10% in most countries now. We're taking over. That's what the Quran says. Then they go into violent mode to attack you in the towns and cities to drive you.
And I would press Alex on that. All right, tell me where in the Quran does it say that they are meant to take over? Because really, you kind of sound stupid, because the Quran is really just reiterating like the part of the Bible. And what the Quran is meant to do is, in their belief, the Quran is pretty much a correction of the Torah and the Bible. So it basically reads like the Bible, except with certain corrections. Of course, especially when it comes to the crucifixion of Jesus and all that good stuff, which is the main contention. But nowhere in the Quran does it say, oh, no, we got to sit there and take over the world. Because if it's in the Quran, then that means it's in the Bible. Because the Quran, and here's the thing, a lot of Christian debaters always bring this up, and they don't even understand how this is a cell phone. But when they say, oh, well, you got to use the Bible to confirm your Quran. I mean, great. Thanks for letting me know. So when you sit here and call this book evil, you're already confirming that, yeah, I got to compare scriptures with the Bible. Yeah, you're right. The Quran does confirm parts of the Bible. You're right. So if the Quran is evil, that means parts of your Bible's evil. Do you see how you cell phone yourself with that? I mean, bro. But all right.
You out to take over town by town. This is a formula. It took them 700 years of them attacking Europe until we did the Crusades back. And I'm predicting you can mark this line in the future as when the new Crusades began. This is the beginning of the beginning. And I predict into the future that you're going to see Christian nationalism that Nick's been predicting for a decade explode. And it is the future. And America first, and not white supremacy, but whites in the West not bowing to being told to take a back seat by the globalists, by the Israel lobby, and its coalition of anti-whites. And there's going to be a lot of people who aren't white, who understand the West, want to be part of it, who actually are on board. So I'm not against blacks, Hispanics, Asians, anybody, Jews that don't want to be part of this, Muslims that want to no longer be Orthodox Muslims that want to be reformed. That's great. But you've declared war on us, just like you did for 700 years.
Nobody declared war on you guys. Who declared war on you? That's what I'm saying. It's like an oversensitivity. First off, nowhere in the Quran does it say declare war, or else you would have to say the same thing about the Bible, because you guys like to say that, oh, you need the Bible to confirm the Quran. Great. That means you're saying that there's a lot of relations to the Bible and the Quran in there, just like Jesus's immaculate conception, the Virgin Mary, and of course the resurrection, well, not the resurrection, but the coming back of Jesus. So if you're going to sit there and say that the Quran is bullshit and all that good stuff, then you're also saying that about the Bible. If you're going to say that the Quran's a war manual, then you're also saying that about the Bible. I mean, it's kind of inescapable.
Muhammad comes along, and it takes 700 years till we fight back, and the whole corporate system gets up there and says, we started it. No, we didn't start it. We finish it. And I predict that we are in the beginning of the second great crusade. That's coming up later with the Sneako coverage as him just being a mile marker that, oh, the new crusades, you can mark this as when the boiling begins. It's here. But let's go there first briefly as a little prelude, an hors d'oeuvre, and then let's get into Iran and the huge developments there, how that ties into geopolitics, then the socialists, communists winning all the major primaries, and more with Nick J. Fuentes. Follow him on rumble.com/Nick J. Fuentes. Nick, thank you for the time. You have been particularly eloquent as usual, but you're getting better and better. Such a young guy out there. I see you battling the culture wars everywhere, and more, you're like the mainstream. And then now people have to do low IQ anti-Semitism and just act like total psychos to try to somehow get attention. But as you predicted a year ago, that's burning out. And the ascension of Planet Groyper is accelerating. And we've seen the curse of the Groypers again with old Sneaky.
Yo, you can't say
yeah, he's really been a victim of the Groyper curse.
And guys, all I got to say is that please find me the verse in the Quran and make sure to go ahead and read it in full context while you're looking for it. But find me a verse in the Quran where it says, yes, where we want to take over the entire world, because it doesn't say that whatsoever. It's kind of funny. It's like that you guys actually say that.
And so have the Muslims in the World Cup.
Actually, bro, it tells you guys, it tells Muslims to actually be cool with the Jews and the Christians, for they are people of the book. So you guys really got it fucked up out here.
I don't know if you saw what happened with Egypt the other day, but they blew their 2-1 lead in the last 10 minutes of the game. And Sneaky was crying about it in New York, literally weeping, tears falling out of his eyes. But you're right. This is something I talked a lot about towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year. And it's sort of interesting. I'd like to talk a little bit more about this on my show and maybe do a project about it. But it's interesting how the pro-Palestine cause, anti-Israel cause for the past couple of years has obviously united a lot of people. And it's brought a lot of people, I think, to America First. I think it's brought a lot of awareness about the influence of AIPAC in Israel. But something that I started to notice around late last year, early this year, is the extent to which...
I mean, but here's the thing, though, bro. If you turn this America First movement into the white fragility movement, then a lot of people are going to hop off. And it's kind of crazy because I remember it was this black professor. I think she was back in the 60s, I believe, who was talking about, well, due to the fact that white people are low in numbers globally, they are going to get, a bit antsy about their declining numbers. They are going to start lashing out on other races, feeling like, oh no, we're small, we need to do this, that, F everybody else, we need to take over. And here's the thing, they're the ones saying that, oh no, people want to take over us, but due to the way white fragility works, you guys are going to try to take over other people if you keep this up. And here's the thing, you guys can recognize your problems. Yes, we can sit there and talk about how white men has been undermined and all that. But I don't need to sit there and make this about, oh man, the poor white man, guys are trying to kill us or trying to extinct us. Like, all right, God, well, look, we hear you, bro. We hear you. But you trying to talk shit about us and other people ain't going to help you. If anything, we're all low-key just going to watch y'all spiral down. And yes, this is like white fragility to the max.
Any and all criticism of Israel is increasingly ideologically captured by Muslims and the left. And I started to notice that when Charlie Kirk was killed. Charlie Kirk was killed by, I believe, Tyler Robinson, a leftist. And whatever happened with Charlie Kirk, I know some people disagree. Some people believe in some conspiracy theory. Regardless, it was tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of left-wingers that celebrated. So whoever you think killed them, left-wingers actually welcomed the development. They were glad that he was gunned down in cold blood in front of his family who was watching this, I think, remotely. And when that happened, I think in a moment, the right wing and really the whole country was united against the left. People said the radical left killed Charlie Kirk or celebrated it at the minimum. And something must be done. We have to go after Antifa. We have to go after some of these cells. And that's been a problem for a long time. The healthcare CEO, the assassination attempts against Trump, and then Charlie Kirk. But then what started to happen after the killing of Charlie Kirk was all of a sudden you had Max Blumenthal, a Jewish leftist, but also many of the Muslims start to say, no, it's an Israeli plot. It's Israel, and no left-wing people commit violence. And as a matter of fact, there is no right and left divide. That's totally artificial and made up. The only thing that exists is just Israel. And I remember thinking, Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel his entire career, his entire profession. Why would Israel kill their number one guy? And then this was something that was picking up steam in the beginning of the year with the extradition of Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela, the killing of those two protesters by ICE in Minneapolis. Those were a couple of other issues where, once again, this Israel thing came up. They said you can't be in favor of Southern Spear and the Newman-Roe doctrine, which is to say taking over Venezuela and maybe Cuba and Nicaragua, because that's Israel. And you can't be in favor of ICE deporting Somalians, scamming American taxpayers, because that's Israel too. They said ICE is training with the IDF, so somehow that's Israel also. And I basically put all these things together, and I realized that between the killing of Charlie Kirk, extradition of Maduro, the ICE killings in...
Yeah, Frankie, now I gotta grill your dumb ass. Like, dog, nowhere in there does it say go out there and force convert all other religions. It said let it manifest. And when you manifest it, I mean, does that mean you're just going out there and you're killing people for it? No. It means you're saying it, you're speaking it, and it's coming to light. That's not forcing it. So the truth, yes, this is what it says. It is he who has sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth to manifest it over all religions, although they who associate others with Allah dislike it. Like, where does that say, yeah, let's go out there and start beheading people? Where does that say, oh, yes, let's take over other nations with Islam? No, it's saying that We speak the truth and we believe it will manifest over other religions. Christians say the same thing, bro. So does Jews. There's really no difference there. That's what I'm saying. You're ignorant. And I mean, that's a crazy reach to take this line and say that it calls for Islamic takeover. That is a crazy reach right there. It's like, bro, it was all about the divine message of Allah sending his prophet Muhammad with the divine guidance and the true religion. It doesn't say anything about, oh yeah, but make sure you go out there and behead people over this religion. Oh yeah, and this religion is meant to take over. And here's the thing. I mean, doesn't Christianity tell you to go out there and spread Christianity as well? So what's the difference here? If both religions tell you to go out there and speak the word of your religion to spread it to other people, and both religions feel like they're the truth. So you see how you're kind of picking favorites here? Yeah, like I said, God, bro, don't know what he's talking about. Hey, I said if you want to go ahead and test me on it, but like I said, you're not going to find anything in the Quran. And then this wasn't even the Quran. This was the Hadith. I said the Quran, and you brought me a quote from the Hadith. Now I know you're retarded, and you move the goalposts. I said out of the Quran, the holy book that was brought to Muhammad and under the beliefs of the Muslims. Find me in there where it says I want a Muslim takeover, and you brought me a Hadith. Do you see what I'm talking about, guys? Bad faith and disingenuous every single time. It's like, bro, it's almost embarrassing that you even did that to yourself. Did you not listen to me?
Minneapolis. These are all things that the left wing and Muslims benefit from blaming on Israel. And I realized all of a sudden, it's like, I don't have anything in common with these people. And just because I'm against Israel and the war in Iran doesn't mean I'm in favor of communism in Venezuela or the regime in Cuba. Doesn't mean I'm in favor of abolishing ICE and open borders.
Bro, thank you. Thank you, Corn Pop. Thank you. Bro, Jesus commands his followers to make disciples of all nations. Is this, bro? So you tell me Jesus is going out saying, bro, we got to force Christianity and push it on all nations? Like, you know how we can also make that radical spin as well. But we're not going to do it because unlike y'all, we actually respect religion. We actually respect the Christian and Islamic faith. I mean, I respect both religions here. I'm not picking favorites. I'm not going to sit there and say that Jesus is calling for the forced takeover of other nations. Just like I'm not going to sit there and say that Allah or Muhammad was calling for it. And here's the thing, bro brought up a hadith, aka not in the Quran. Jesus, man.
It doesn't mean I think that
you can't even get a good faith debate with these people.
There is not a real problem with left-wing violence when there so obviously is. And something needs to be done about that by the federal government, by the executive branch. And so this is something I've been really outspoken about lately. And I think only now are people really starting to realize the extent of the problem. And you see what guys like Sneako, Jackson Hinkle, Max Blumenthal, Dan Kazarian, as I like to call him, many of these people that are not even really patriotic, they're not nationalists, they're not America first.
Hold on now. You can't call Dan Bilzerian, bro. Dan Bilzerian done fought for this country, Nick. What about you? Hold on now. I'm pretty sure Dan Bilzerian had military service, if I'm correct, right? Now, let me see. Dan Bilzerian, military service. Yes, Dan Bilzerian served in the U.S. Navy, enlisted in 1999, underwent grueling Navy SEAL training, although he spent over 500 days training and completed it multiple times. So how is he not truly America first when he literally fought for this country, Nick? But you are? Okay, bro. Okay. I mean, dog, you're over here trying to incite a race war, and this man's actually trying to talk about America. I mean, come on now.
They're just anti-Israel, and they're either left-wing or Muslim or captured by one or the other. And so that's something I've really been adamant about lately.
Well, I'm not trying to say, see, I told you so, but I remember about 3 years ago, people can pull it up, and you've been right about things I was wrong on just as much. We're not wrong a lot. So we're both about 98% accurate. I was like, listen, Islam is a major deal. There's 2 billion of them. They're allied with the left. We got to harp on Islam. And you're like, yeah, but that's really, Israel uses that as a diversion. And it's true that the Israel First crowd and the Greater Israel crowd props themselves up with their Zionist and Christian Zionist propaganda that, oh, you got to be with Israel to be against Islam. And that plays into Blumenthal and others who I think mean well. But yes, I mean, oh, the IDF's training ICE. Not even true. I remember that thing. And, obviously Israel killed him. And I'm not saying that couldn't be possible, but we were told day one that was it.
Hey.
And nobody wanted to talk about 10 trannies days before saying he'll be dead when he comes to town in a couple days. And then they said, see, we told you we'd kill him. And then we found out Kash Patel didn't want to interview them. I learned that from TPUSA at the top. Patel told him that. So I had a lot of issues and still.
Oh, yeah, guys, you got any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements? I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Just $2 and up. Sorry, I had to give a couple reactions for free because, hey, man, what bro said was just so disingenuous. And he just proved my point, how when people debate Islam, they do it in such bad faith. And I'll go over it again. I told the man to give me somewhere in the Quran where it talks about a takeover, a Muslim takeover. He had to go to a hadith, which is not part of the Quran. But for some reason, he thought that was an all right thing to send.
But now Robinson's wearing the trans flag. They have the DNA. They have all this. And now they have the video of him, as they said they did, with the gun in his leg, clearly going up, to the top of the building and all of it. And for everybody that said, no, absolutely, Israel did it, or, absolutely, they're going to look foolish as more and more of this comes out. Now, I've said a lot of the official story doesn't add up. The bullet not going through, all of that. The FBI confirmed, the contractor went public, saying we want it all concrete scooped out under where he was 4 feet in 2 days. We want it covered up. Well,
yeah, I mean, let's be real. The original story is just don't make sense. And I was covering it last night. If you think you got shot with a 30-06, man, I mean, God bless your heart, bro. God bless your heart. I'm like, if you truly believe that, bro, whatever. Then I mean, you'll buy anything at that point. Like, really, a 30-06, a gun that could shoot through thick ass bones, that could shoot through the bone of an ox. You think is not gonna completely like tear through Charlie Kirk? Like, come on now. Like, really? But apparently everybody wants to believe the 30-06 story. And you know what? I mean, bro, they might just convict that man, Tyler Robinson, on it and him now and put him down as a patsy. We're all gonna have to shut the fuck up about it, or they'll just call us crazy for doubting it. Which, I mean, I guess it's fair.
Bullets didn't hit that. What are you doing? A lot of weirdness. We should all ask questions, but absolutely this thing to then attribute everything to Israel every time. And then if you criticize what Islam's doing, they always say, oh, you're with Israel. They say it to you. They say it to me. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be bitten by a rattle.
No, the problem is we say y'all with Israel because you spread the same lies that the pro-Israelis guys do about Islam. You spread the same lies. The same misquotes of the same the same misquotes of the Quran, the same misquotes of the hadiths. Like, dog, you just said that, bro, Muhammad got rolled by 30 black men as if he was thinking about it sexually. Like, no, I mean, he got pressed by 30 black men about the Quran, about his teachings. But like, that's what I'm saying. It's so bad faith and disingenuous. And then you wonder why people compare you to Zionists. Because they're bad faith and disingenuous. That's why. And you spread the same exact lies. And then you wanted to lie to Sneako, talk about, I read the Quran twice. Bro, everything you said about Islam lets us know that you have not read maybe not one page of the Quran. Not one.
Snake or a cobra. I don't want to be shot in the head with a 357 Magnum or a 12 gauge. It is a false equivalency to say you're either for Israel or you're for Islam. It's moronic, but we do get it from the neocons. The 1.3 billion Israel officially funded the last year for domestic propaganda, coming after those of us that criticize Trump, you and I and others that have been listed, saying, oh, we're Qataris and all this asinine crap when we have our biggest base in Qatar. Trump, it's a jumbo jet from Qatar. I'm not even trying to bash Trump. It's just the idea. And notice when the Southern Poverty Law Center documents came out, you weren't a Fed. I wasn't a Fed. A bunch of these groups were. When the WikiLeaks comes out, I'm not a Fed. When the Epstein files come out, he's attacking me. Files come out about them targeting you. And the truth is, the people they're claiming are Qatari agents and all the rest of this, that's not true. We're not Jewish agents. That's not true. We're America Firsters, indeed, in action, and that's why we're popular, and that should show the system where the future is. I want to talk about the ascension later of America First, but let's get in. Let's just do Sneako now and do Iran and all that later because we're already here. Let's talk about what I said earlier. Do you agree that this is really the beginning of the Second Great Crusade and that we're going to be victorious? It may take 50 years, but I can feel it. Nick Fuentes.
I hope it is. I hope it's the beginning of a Christian revival, but I think we have to first start with awakening a consciousness within America about what our civilization is. And this is why I think it's really meaningful, because it's sort of interesting that For a couple of years, you had the Zionists who mostly control the Republican Party and the right wing. Obviously, they have influence among the Democrat Party. We recognize, though, that Netanyahu and his Likud government, they have a very special play with the Republican Party, very special relationship with the Trump family in particular, but also the Republican Party in general. And it's interesting how the only way it's been acceptable for the past few years to be contrary to this influence of Israel and recognize Israel as a distinct civilization. Jewish civilization, Israel, it's the Jewish religion, it's the Jewish ethnicity, it's the Jewish culture. That's really separate and distinct from Europe and from Christendom. It's different from Europeans, it's different from Christianity, different ethnicity, different religion. The only way to meaningfully oppose the influence of this foreign civilization in America so far has been really to side with Muslims. That seems to be that's like the overwhelming loudest voice in the room, is free Palestine from the river to the sea, promoting the Muslim religion. And what I've tried to promote, contrary to both of these things, is that we actually have a role.
I mean, here's the thing, though. I don't promote Islam, and nor I promote Christianity. Is like, I'm just going to tell you when you're bullshitting about a religion. If you spread falsehood about Christianity, I'm going to call you out. If you spread falsehood about Islam, I'm going to call you out. It's not about me selling the religion to you. It's about me just exposing the truth and how people will lie to you about a religion to make you think it's okay to hate a group of people or to make you think that this conflict inside a certain country is okay.
In all of this, we are a distinct, separate civilization. We shouldn't.
And bro, here's the thing. Sneako kind of showed how sensitive a lot of people are. It's like the Islamic Republic of New Yorkistan, Islam will be in every household, God willing. When you say God willing, that doesn't mean you're going to force it. I hope you guys know that. And also the Islamic Republic of New Yorkistan. And remember, nobody's really saying the context of this. You know, he's saying this in an Arab majority spot in New York, during a soccer game, well, he's all hyped up. So you don't think you're going to say something reckless, especially when your favorite team winning right now? I mean, it is what it is. And I ain't going to lie. It is provocative as hell, but he's not calling for an Islamic takeover like everybody's been saying.
Be dominated by Israel and by this Jewish nation inside of America, New York City, LA, and Miami. We also shouldn't be dominated by Muslim civilization. We also shouldn't be dominated by, let's say, the Saudis, the Qataris, Iran.
I'm weak. I guess somebody said something stupid again. He said, bro, you're so selling Islam is better than Christianity. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you how Islam and Christianity compares. And I'm telling you how y'all both pretty much believe in the same thing of Jesus coming back and fighting evil and all that good stuff. So how is that pushing one over another when I'm literally saying you guys basically believe the same thing? So I don't understand the beef. Like, that's the point overall. If just because I'm not over there bashing Islam doesn't mean that I'm putting Islam over Christianity. I would hope you're smart enough to come to that conclusion.
On these other countries, we are Christians, we are Europeans, we are the inheritors of Greece and Rome and all those great colonial empires, the Dutch, the Spanish, English, French, Portuguese, and so on. We should really embrace our identity. So I think in order to have this crusade, in order to really assert our role separate and distinct from the others, we have to become aware of who we are again. What is it to be American? What is it to be white? What is it to be Christian? I think there's a lot of work to be done on that front.
I 1 trillion percent just interrupt. Agreed. When I say crusade, I mean the beginning of the renaissance of rediscovering our identity, not bowing, not cucking, becoming territorial again, really learning our identity again. As the crusade, it took us.
So you don't think I know what an Orthodox Christian is when I've talked about Catholicism, Orthodox Christian, Protestant? You don't think I don't know what that is, dumbass? Just like how I can speak about Sunni Islam and Shia and the difference between them, I can also talk about the difference between the three major denominations of Christianity. I mean, I got the book right here. Shout out to the Bible, man. Shout out, man. You got to love it. Mwah. You know, yeah, but I mean, goes to show you know, like I said, you're kind of stupid. I'm gonna be real with you.
700 years before, I think it's going to be accelerated now. And within the coming decades, we will then see major pushback, and I mean real deportations, because the Muslims are just going to get more violent, more arrogant. They're not going to stop. And if I look at the numbers and the facts,